I've been analyzing the career data of overachieving millennial women, and well, the evidence is clear. The more things you're good at, the more invisible your true value becomes. Let's open the case file on what I call the crime of efficiency. I want you to look at your daily schedule through a forensic lens, right? On the surface, you see, the scene looks like a success story. Fast-paced. You're the one who fixes the broken spreadsheets. You're the one who can de-escalate the difficult clients that everyone else is afraid of. And you're the one who remembers the 3 things the project manager forgot. You are, by all accounts, the office glue. But here is the forensic reality. While you were busy being the glue that holds the department together, you are becoming structurally stuck. I've noticed a chilling pattern in high-performance data. And you see, the victim in this scenario isn't the underperformer who gets fired. Pointed, the victim is the woman who is so reliable, so efficient, and so capable of doing everyone else's job that she has become a functional necessity rather than a strategic asset. Slightly sarcastic. You might think that by being the person who can do it all, you're proving your worth for that next promotion. But I'm here to tell you, you're actually building your own cage. You are drowning in good work, the kind of work that keeps the lights on while being systematically passed over for the great opportunities that involve vision, strategy, and high-level leadership. Now, we have to look at the motive. Why is this happening to you? Hypothetical and direct. I mean, if I'm your boss and I have a high performer like you who handles the chaos so I don't have to, why would I ever want to move you? Coldly logical. From a purely analytical standpoint, your boss is actually incentivized to keep you exactly where you are. Matter of fact, promoting you would create a massive, inconvenient hole in the daily operations that no one else can fill. Softly, you aren't being held back because you lack talent. Firmly, you're being held back because your talent has become a utility, one that the company simply can't afford to lose. The question we have to solve today is, how do you stop being the most useful person in the room so you can finally become the most powerful one? Let's look at the evidence. I mean, really look at it. Measured. I want you to conduct a forensic audit. A total deep dive of your last 48 hours at work. Inquisitive. If I were to look at your calendar, your Slack messages, or those late-night sent emails, what exactly would I see? I suspect I'd find the unmistakable fingerprints of a high-utility trap. You see, I've noticed a recurring pattern in high performance like you. You pride yourself on being the Swiss Army knife of the office. You're the one who
I want you to look at your current to-do list right now. I want you to stop seeing it as a badge of honor and start seeing it as a list of clues at a crime scene. How many of those items are actually strategic? How many of them involve you making high-level decisions that shape the future of the company? If you're like most high-performing professionals I analyze, and I analyze a lot of them, the answer is almost none. Your list is likely overflowing with utility tasks. And here is the cold, forensic truth. The tasks you're given are designed to keep the machine running, not to put you in charge of the machine. Notice how the work you're so good at never actually leads to the C-suite or a seat at the leadership table. It just leads to a heavier workload. You've become indispensable, but in the most dangerous way possible. In technical terms, you are now a single point of failure. Look, if your boss promotes you, the daily operations will collapse because no one else knows how to do what you do. If they move you up,
The fires you're so good at putting out will burn the whole department down. So, you're stuck in a paradox. The better you perform at these utility tasks, the more you cement your position exactly where you are. You aren't being rewarded for your competence, you're being held hostage by it. But why does your brain crave this trap? Why do we find a strange sense of safety in being the helper, right? Even when it's stalling our growth. To solve that, we have to look deeper into the psychological safe zone you've created and why your own mindset, your very own mindset, might be your most sophisticated saboteur. Let's investigate the psychological profile of what I call the strategic liability paradox. You see, when I look at the evidence of a stalled career, the culprit usually isn't a lack of talent. In fact, it's the exact opposite. I mean, you've become so exceptionally efficient at executing low to mid value tasks that you have inadvertently turned yourself into a strategic liability. Here is the cold, hard data. In a high performance environment, your value is often measured by the friction you remove from your manager's life. If you're the one who cleans up the messy spreadsheets, manages the difficult clients, and keeps the operational machine humming without a single hiccup, well, you've made yourself indispensable. But I want you to look closer at that word. Indispensable. In the corporate world, if you cannot be replaced, you cannot be promoted. We have to analyze the boss's incentive here, right? From a forensic perspective, your manager is looking at a risk-reward ratio. If I move you up to a strategic role where you're finally using your high-level brain power, I just created a massive, gaping hole in my daily operations. I now have to find, hire, and train someone who, let's be honest, probably won't be half as good as you are. Promoting you would actually be a bad business move for them. It would create absolute chaos in their department. So, they keep you right where you are, rewarding your excellence with more of the same work, while someone less useful gets moved into the leadership roles you're actually qualified for. You see, you aren't being rewarded for your competence. You're being held hostage by it.
To break out of this, you have to develop a trait that feels almost repulsive to a high achiever like you. The audacity to be mediocre. I'm talking about the strategic decision to lower your performance on tasks that don't move the needle. If you continue to over-deliver on the utility tasks, you're just tightening the handcuffs, you know? Real growth doesn't come from doing more things well. It comes from having the discipline to let the small things fail, so you have the capacity to dominate the big ones. But this raises a new question. If the goal is to stop being the fixer, why does it feel so physically uncomfortable to let a minor task slide? I mean, why does the thought of a messy inbox or an imperfect report feel like a threat to your identity? To understand that, we have to look at the dopamine of the doer and how your brain has been tricked into prioritizing the rush of completion over the weight of real impact. However, there's one specific psychological trigger your boss is using to keep you in this cycle without you even realizing it. Well, we've identified the crime scene, and we've pinpointed the exact psychological weapon being used against you. Now, it's time to actually solve the case. We're moving into what I call the deconstruction protocol. You see, this isn't just about working smarter, it's about rebuilding your authority from the ground up, so you can finally stop being the department's most valuable tool and start being its most respected leader. Step 1. We're conducting a utility audit. I want you to open your calendar, or your to-do list, and look at it with a forensic lens, right? Highlight every single task you performed in the last 48 hours. Now, here's the magnifying glass. Identify the ones you did simply because, well, it's easier than explaining it to someone else. That phrase, it's a massive red flag. It's the sound of you treating your long-term career trajectory for
5 minutes of short-term convenience. If you're doing it because only I can do it right, you're not being a hero, you're being a bottleneck. Step 2, we initiate strategic delegation. Look, in the world of high performance, your value isn't measured by your manual output. It's measured by your influence. The next time a problem lands on your desk, I want you to resist the urge to fix it. Instead, you're going to coach a junior colleague through the solution. Your new KPI, the metric I want you to track actually, is how much work can really happen without your hands on it. If the machine runs while you're standing still, you've achieved authority. But if it breaks the moment you walk away, well, you're still just a cog in the engine. Step 3, you must practice the Sherlock pause. When a low-value request comes flying your way, the helpful version of you wants to say yes before the sentence is even finished, right? Stop. Pause for 5 seconds. In that silence, I want you to ask yourself, does this build my authority, or does it just build my utility? If it's just making you more useful to others, without moving the needle on your own high-impact goals, you have to redirect the request. I need you to realize that saying no is not an act of aggression. It's an act of high-performance strategy. You are protecting the mental real estate required for the work that actually matters.
But here's the mystery we still haven't solved. You see, even when you start saying no, there's a specific way people will try to pull you back into your old role. It's a phenomenon known as the expert's anchor. And if you don't know how to cut the rope, you'll find yourself dragged back down to the bottom of the ladder before the week is even over. To cut the rope of the expert's anchor, I need you to realize something that feels, well, deeply counterintuitive. Your competence is no longer your greatest asset. It's your greatest distraction. In this investigation, we finally unmask the culprit. It's not your lack of skill, but your abundance of it that's keeping you stuck. The deduction is clear, right? If I spend all my energy being the person who can fix every small leak in the ship, I'm never the one actually charting the course. I'm trapped in the engine room because I'm, you see, too good at keeping it running. But that's the trap. As long as you are the most useful person in the room, you will never be the most impactful person in the room. It's time for a radical identity shift. Up until now, your brand has probably been the girl who gets it done. It's a title that feels good. I mean, it's validating. But in the world of high-performance architecture, that title is a cage. I want you to trade it in for a new one. The leader who makes it happen. You see, the girl who gets it done focuses on the how. The labor, the execution, the endless checklist. The leader who makes it happen focuses on the why and the who. She understands that her value isn't in her ability to perform every task, but in her ability to move the needle on the things that actually matter. You aren't losing your edge by stepping back, right? You're gaining the perspective you need to win. So, here is my final verdict for this case. Excellence in the wrong things is just high-level procrastination. It's a sophisticated way of staying busy so you don't have to do the scary, high-stakes work of leading. You've been playing a small game because you're so good at it, but your career isn't a puzzle to be completed. It's a strategy to be mastered. I want to hear from you. Take a look at your utility audit. Which task are you going to stop doing this week to make room for your leadership layer? Let me know in the comments. And if you're ready to stop being the useful one and start being the powerful one, hit that subscribe button and join us here at Power of Mindset. We're going to keep decoding the psychology of high performance until you're exactly where you belong. Case closed.